It's one of those places that gives you goosebumps. The history just oozes out of that place. As soon as you pull in there, you feel a part of it.
They will have the opportunity of a lifetime where the greatest race car drivers have won.
Seeing your car on the grid when you walk up to race, you can't help but have this special feeling. It's all about winning that race. You want to kiss the brakes.
There's not many people that get to say that they actually lived out their childhood dream.
I feel like I'm in a dream from when I was 10 years old.
It's probably the biggest win of my career so far.
This is your house, KB. Your house.
NASCAR, over a quarter century of history at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and now a new tradition will begin today. It starts with qualifying this morning for the NASCAR Cup Series, taking on the road course at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Everyone getting ready for this first session that will send them out on track. Alongside Dale Earnhardt Jr., Jeff Burton, Rick Allen with you as we get ready for the first ever qualifying session from Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the road course for the Cup Series. And it's just the 6th qualifying session of the year, so we haven't seen a lot of this. But what would you expect as far as who's the favorite to go out and get the pole today?
I don't know about who the favorite is, but a lot of these guys still need track time. You know, they just got an hour yesterday. I know a lot of these guys are excited just to get back out there and continue to learn how to get around this racetrack. Two of the guys that I'm going to be watching, the RCR guys, they need stage points during this race, so a good qualifying effort will give them that opportunity to get those stage points as they're trying to battle to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, Martin Truex Jr., he was the fastest in practice, but what I'm going to find interesting is that qualifying takes a different mindset. And you've sat overnight, and you haven't been doing this much this year, as you just mentioned. You've got to get in qualifying mode in your brain. You got to go push and not push too hard. Who can do that well? Who's going to make mistakes? Who's not? It's very difficult to qualify, especially sitting overnight thinking about it. So who can step up and make the day happen? It's going to be fun to watch.
A couple guys had some track time yesterday. Austin Cindric won the race. He'll be running also today in the Cup Series. Kevin Harvick, Chase Elliott, they were on track yesterday. We go on track when we return. It's not too late to get in the game with NASCAR Fantasy Live. You can create an entry by picking 5 drivers plus a garage driver, and you can compete in either new or existing leagues with your friends. It's Fantasy Live, and it lets you keep tabs on your lineup during the race, make adjustments until the end of stage 2. You just have to visit NASCAR.com/fantasy to start playing. Right now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is kicking everybody's rear in fantasy as far as broadcasters goes.
Well, Marty's doing really good here lately. He's closing in on me. I got to get going again.
Oh, so now you're trying to...
I was going to say, I take exception to that, Rick.
Well, he's pushing off the fact that he's leading, and he's been dominant. So one of the things, obviously, when we get ready to get qualifying underway here, Jeff, is a different start-finish line for qualifying.
Yeah, NASCAR moves the start-finish line. The traditional start-finish line is right here on the front straightaway for the oval, but it's moved around to allow the drivers to get their lap finished and then be able to pull into pits, not have to drive all the way around the racetrack, block other drivers. There you see it. So what the drivers are going to do is they're going to leave pit road and try to save their tires a little bit and then get going quick enough through these series of S's to get to this start-finish line, and that starts their lap. So they don't have to go all the way around the racetrack. They're coming to it pretty soon.
Yeah, and that's just for practice, which we had yesterday, and qualifying today. They'll go back to the normal start-finish line for the race later this afternoon. Marty.
Hey, Rick, to that point, what Jeff was just making with the alternate start-finish line where the lap time will start for these drivers, talking to a number of drivers up and down pit road, they're saying that with this early morning qualifying session, there's going to be a ton of grip on the racetrack and not a lot of time from the time you leave pit road to the end of pit road to where that start-finish line is. So that's going to mean you're going to have to get up to speed really quick, learn the grip on the racetrack. If you want that first lap to be your money lap, you got to get going really fast and kind of gauge the grip early.
We saw in the Xfinity Series this weekend, the guys got a little quicker as they ran. And some of the guys in qualifying thought the second lap might be the better lap. So it'll be interesting to see today with the Cup cars whether that first lap is the best or they make a better lap the second or third. I think they'll get better with each lap just because they don't know the track, and they'll get faster and faster with each lap.
Round 1 is underway. It's 25 minutes long. The top 12 in this round are going to advance to the final round, which is only 10 minutes. But the starting spots 13 through 40 will be set In the final round, that's where the top 12 positions are set and where the pole is won. So even if somebody goes out and runs the fastest lap in round 1, that doesn't guarantee you the pole. You have to run the fastest lap in round 2.
So you see Brad Keselowski right here. He was 21st fastest in practice. Not a good practice. Saw him sliding tires. Had a lot of issues. They did get a little bit better. Interesting to see what the speed is this morning. Yesterday in Xfinity practice, the times from practice to qualifying picked up about 2 seconds. So let's see, Brad K, there he is. That's the start-finish line. He just crossed it, a 1:29.57.
Bowman right away goes a little quicker at 1:29.47. And Penske's looking for the sweep for the weekend. Obviously a very rare situation when IndyCar, the Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series are all at the same track on the same weekend. And yesterday, it was Will Power of Team Penske who won the IndyCar race. Then Austin Cindric went out of Team Penske and won the Xfinity Series race. So now the possibility exists for the Penske sweep if one of the Penske drivers can get to victory lane. And this is the first ever Cup Series race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the road course.
Kyle Busch looks like he's going to lay down the fastest time, but right behind him is Chase Elliott, about a half a second faster than Kyle Busch.
Interesting because Chase Elliott wasn't as quick in practice yesterday, but then got called in to drive for Michael Annett in the Xfinity Series race. Maybe learned some things as far as braking, how deep you get into turns. The cars are completely different. So what can you learn running that Xfinity race?
Look at this 8 car right here. You know, you're just going to, like I said, these guys haven't had a lot of time on this racetrack. Any kind of laps is going to help them. That was amazing for a guy like Elliott to be able to get those laps, and Reddick goes to the top of the board right there. Chastain right behind him, another guy who's done so well on the road courses this year. That's 42 car right here. Great news for him, getting picked up by Trackhouse in their second car next year. It's kind of a continuation of this program, as Trackhouse has acquired the charters and teams and equipment and shop and everything from the 42 Ganassi bunch.
So now these teams, Reddick, Chastain, Elliott, Cindric, they're probably pretty safe, but they got to go on pit road and watch the clock, see if they think they might have to run again to protect their position. I think they're fine. Matty D.
DiBenedetto on the clock, just went into the red a little bit there.
So Tyler Reddick, don't be surprised by that name at the top of the list. He won the pole at COTA earlier this year. Been really quick on the road courses.
I got him in my fantasy lineup. So I've got Reddick, I've got Chastain. I don't have Elliott anymore because I used him up early, but guys that are running well on road courses.
Well, that's a great play, Rick, too, because Reddick needs points. He doesn't have a win, and he's battling his teammate for a spot in the playoffs. So he's going to be on the racetrack when those stage points are delivered and available. A lot of these guys are probably going to pit early before the end of the stage to be able to hold that track position, try to win this race, but he's going to stay out there probably and get those stage points.
Kyle Larson right here. Big win last night. Rick.
Yeah, big weekend.
Huge win last night in Dirt Series. He's trying to follow that up. Look at this pace he's got. There's a start-finish line right ahead of him.
Yeah, he won the Knoxville Nationals last night in Knoxville, Iowa. And take a look back at what took place. Donnie Schatz is right behind him, and this is a valiant effort by Schatz here at the end. He dives in to 3 and 4 the last time. Look at this, hoping to stick. It's Larson in the 57, and Larson holds on to win the Knoxville Nationals. To put everything in perspective, Kyle Larson has won every major dirt race that there has been in the United States. Every single one of them by winning last night. And the things that he's been able to do in NASCAR. 5 wins already. Kelly, it's really been an amazing season.
It's been an incredible run for sure for Kyle Larson, and thank God he's as young as he is, because when I saw him just before qualifying, I asked him what time he got back here to the track from the Knoxville Nationals. He said he got to his motor coach about 3:40 this morning. So I said, all right, taking a nap after this? And he said, oh yeah, but he stuck around, celebrated a little bit with the fans in Knoxville last night. A huge accomplishment. He certainly had a smile on his face, even though it's an early qualifying today. And I don't think it's going to affect his performance, as we see already at the top of the charts here in qualifying.
Yeah, only one who run under 128. How about Chase Briscoe? A good lap there. He won the Xfinity Series race on the road course a year ago here.
Allmendinger in third. He finished second year in Xfinity race. Cole Custer in fourth. That put Matty D and Hamlin in that position where they're going to have to probably run again. William Byron. Yeah, just look at the wheel hop. That's a corner where we normally see guys lock the right front up. William got it wheel hopping. He'll have to make another run.
That might have, was that right at the beginning of his run? Because that was coming into 12, right? So he would have just probably taken the green more or less.
Exactly.
Here's a guy who's known for being pretty good at these places. He had good speed yesterday, Martin Truex Jr. Starting, he's probably, I mean, you think he's starting his lap because he's going into the first few corners of the racetrack, but he's kind of just about halfway through his lap with the alternate start finish line.
And now we're starting to look at 12th, Daniel Suarez. Again, the top 12 advance to the next round of qualifying. These guys want to be in that.
Yeah, so you can see Truex is a solid, almost half second faster than that 12th place position. Oh, trying to get the rear tires hooked up. A lot of wheel spin right there.
Still a good lap. Fourth quickest for Martin Truex Jr. at 128.148.
So, Junior, you mentioned some guys yesterday in the Xfinity Series ran a little quicker their second time out. That's why Logano, Chastain, Chase Elliott, Austin Cindric, those guys got to really pay attention to whether they're going to go try to make another run right here, Marty.
Interesting move by Adam Stevens and Christopher Bell here. They actually went out, to Junior's point, everyone kind of thinking maybe lap 2 might be a little bit quicker. Well, they went out and ran a really slow half lap for Christopher Bell, pulled him in, sort of scuffing in these Goodyear tires. We'll see if that pays off with some extra speed in the 20 to make sure they make the next round.
Oh,
missed the corner.
Yeah.
Yep. You can hear him. You can hear the engine there as he's knocking it around in gear. And
so now, Junior, he would be just as well served. Just, well, maybe he can overcome it. I don't know if he can overcome that big of a mistake, but he may be just as well off just to stop this lap and try to save a little bit of that tire to go back out a second time. He's got 3/10 to make up in a pretty short section of the racetrack. Oh, do it
or
again.
wheel hop. Yeah, I think he's wheel hopping a little bit there. It doesn't sound like that the revs are getting up as he's getting down late into the braking zone. And the engine and the wheel hop, that kind of induces wheel hop.
So the bad news is you're 15th. The good news is there's a lot of speed left. There's a lot of speed left to go back and get. Just clean your lap up.
14 minutes to go in this session. And Christopher Bell, you know, he had his first career win came at the Daytona road course to start off the year. We ride along with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. right on the bumper, right there on the ground as we go into turn 7 here. Road course racing, not really Ricky's forte.
Listening to the throttle there through turns 8, 9, and 10, you can hear them, all these guys having to apply just some throttle to get through those corners, and but not full throttle, and that's going to create some great hard racing during the race coming up later today.
20th for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Right now it's Larson who is fastest. We'll try it again for William Byron. You know, you can get Peacock for tons of live sports, including NBC's Sunday Night Football, streaming all season long. Plus, catch exclusive Premier League matches, coverage of live golf championships. Get started at peacocktv.com/sports. You can sign up now. And William Byron coming into 7 now. Again, had the issue on his first attempt, but now in the green, trying to break into the top 12. Matt DiBenedetto right now on the bubble.
Oh, that was around. Just hustling the car. Good lap.
William Byron all the way up to 4th quickest. Now Hamlin is on the bubble. In that 12th spot, Matt DiBenedetto will have to go back out again if he wants to stay in the top 12 and make it to the next round.
That's pretty impressive because you make a mistake, you're behind. You've seen everybody on the boards ran laps, and kind of puts you under the microscope if you're William Byron, and you went out there and knocked it down.
I mentioned Peacock earlier as far as live sports. How about Motormouth's coming back on Monday? Wednesday, 6 o'clock. It's such a great show. Fans get to interact with drivers, with people on the show. It's just so much fun. So you guys be a part of that?
Yeah, back on Monday. Glad to be back in studio. We have great guests. Love the fans calling in. I was going to say ask anything, but well, there's a limit. But it's fun to have the fans engage, and we have great guests on the show. Drivers come in. Just a really fun show.
Again, that's Monday and Wednesday on Peacock at 6 p.m. Eastern. See Martin Truex Jr. going through some data. 24 and the 19. Both the 14 turns, just under 2.5 miles on a road course, and those guys go the exact same speed. Byron is going to be shown 4th ahead of Truex because of owner points. Has more owner points. That's why that tie is broken that way. But Hamlin, with only just under 8 minutes to go in this qualifying round, the first round, Hamlin right there on the bubble. Austin Cindric, who won the Xfinity race yesterday, he's 11th. Chase Elliott was 4th in that Xfinity race yesterday, is 10th. There's Austin Dillon.
I talked about the RCR guys right at the top of the show. This is one of them. Austin Dillon needs some points this weekend. Him and his teammate Reddick are both sort of battling each other for a spot in the playoffs. Now, you know, they could go out there and win and lock themselves in, but if that doesn't happen, they're going to try to get as many stage points as they can. So expect these guys to try a little bit of a strategy that keeps them on the racetrack near the end of stage 1 or stage 2. Kelly.
And you can see right there on your screen that Austin Dillon has 15 points to make up on his teammate Tyler Reddick as they enter this race. He was one of a handful of drivers that also raced the Xfinity Series race yesterday, finished 6th in that. And on Austin's first qualifying attempt here this morning, he said the car was a little tight everywhere, but then he said he was just more worried about his line throughout this course than just driving it. So they did make a chassis adjustment, but it sounds like even with all those laps yesterday, he's still really kind of overthinking it maybe and exactly where he needs to put his car.
Well, Kelly, he's been working really hard to become a better road racer, and I think sometimes that can happen, right? You're working so hard, you're trying hard, and then you start thinking about it all the time rather than just going out and trusting your instincts and just ripping around there. You know, sometimes that's just the best thing to do is just go and try to make something happen.
If you're Denny Hamlin, when do you go out? You have to go back out, right? Because you know that if you don't go out and somebody comes here in the next couple minutes and bumps you out, then you lose an opportunity at that top 12.
I think you wait a few minutes and watch Cindric. To me, that's the guy. You watch Austin Cindric, and there you go.
Yeah.
And Cindric was out there early enough, you know, to let him go make his run. You had to be prepared to run, but now you know you have to go. And you know there's speed out there. Cindric advanced his time.
Daniel Suarez, with his lap, put him in 11th from Trackhouse Racing. That bumped Hamlin out. Cindric now is in that 12th spot. trying to better that mark, but you see he's not going to be able to do it right there as he crossed the stripe. So Cindric, even though he has run 3 laps, his first lap was still his fastest, and that right now is sitting on the bubble as Harvick is out here now. Harvick ran the Xfinity race as well.
So Suarez picked up a little bit of speed. Cindric didn't. So the big question for me is Chase Elliott, right? I think he sits. I just don't see, you know, cars. Suarez ran a couple tenths quicker than he did before. I just don't see right now evidence that cars are going to go a whole lot quicker. So I think if you're Chase Elliott, you just sit.
Chase Elliott currently in 10th. Suarez 11th. Cindric right now on the bubble. And nobody in the green that's on the track. So Harvick, he was 0.7 of a second off. Keselowski's a whole second off. Kyle Busch half a second off.
Denny Hamlin is pulling off a pit road, guys. Gonna get ease around the racetrack to that start-finish line here in just a bit. Marty.
Hey, Junior, watching Denny Hamlin start his lap and try and work his way back into the top 12. And you were talking a moment ago, Junior, about how you're going to see the RCR cars kind of battling for stage points today. Well, how about Kyle Larson and Denny Hamlin battling for stage points as well? Yeah, sure, they want to win the race, but they need every stage point they can get, because what's on the left-hand side of your screen, the battle for the regular season championship, and they are tied right now. So, yeah, they both have. Kyle Larson has all the wins. Denny Hamlin has led the points all year long. But the 5 and the 11 need every stage point they can get today, because there's 15 bonus points involved in being the regular season champ in just 3 weeks.
Think about the last 11 races. Kyle Larson has gained 144 points on Denny Hamlin. So as consistent as Hamlin has been, Larson has been better.
And that's a tough thing to do, because if you stay out on the track to get the stage points and a lot of guys are pitting before the end of the stage, then you're behind them when the stage ends and you pit. You're giving up a lot of track position for those stage points and making it more difficult to win the race. So that's a tough balance between whether you want those, you know, that overall regular season points championship and the bonus points that come with that, or you want that trophy in Indy.
Denny Hamlin on the clock right now, about 0.2 of a second off of what Cindric's time is, and he's got to get into the top 12 if he wants to make it to the next round.
And right now,
is out there as well.
Yeah, right now as it stands, there's only one Joe Gibbs Toyota in the top 12. That's a surprise to me. Good as Hamlin's runs, good as Bell's run on the road courses. Kyle Busch.
Coming into the hard braking zone of 7 here. McDowell's close. Hamlin's close. Now into the green. Right back out into the red, though. Spun the tires. Coming out of 10, and Hamlin won't get into that top 12. How about McDowell, though? He bumps Suarez down to the 12th spot.
Knocked Austin Cindric out. Good job. That's a driver right there. Michael McDowell does a really nice job. So I win the Daytona 500, going to the playoffs. They haven't had, you know, early in the year, it seemed like you watched them and they were in the top 10 racing a lot, and we haven't seen that lately. Hopefully they can find some of that speed back as the playoffs start.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 40 seconds to go in this session, this round. And again, if you get to the start-finish line before the clock ends, that lap would count. Ricky shut her down even before that line, and we see Corey LaJoie in the 7. He gets to the line about 10 seconds before the clock runs out, so this lap will count.
Corey's 26th fastest right now, trying to prove that time.
Patriotic paint scheme for Corey LaJoie as he works his way through 12, 13, and now 14. And back onto the front stretch for Corey LaJoie.
26th, I think, is definitely overachieving for this team. I'm sure Corey would argue with me there, but cooked it in there a little bit too hard. But that's a great, that's a great job by this team to come here and outrun all the cars that they have. And they worked hard to improve, inspire, and think about where this team was years ago, just a couple years ago, making some big gains, improving their program, being more competitive. Corey LaJoie was a great addition to that company.
He really has been. He recognizes the effort, what they're trying to do. They're trying to build. He doesn't get himself in trouble. Accomplishes the goals each race. Now going into the next year with this new car, interesting to see what this team can do.
That'll do it for Corey's lap.
My goodness.
Interesting there.
Very interesting.
What was...
So it was Larson that was fastest. Round 2 will be coming up in just a moment.
The race today, it's a long race. Just trying to get to the end. That's my main goal.
Have you been roaming up the vocal cords? Do you have anything else in mind for post-race?
The one time wasn't good enough. I mean, I'll do it a second time, but I need a reason to do it, so.
It was so good. We want an encore, and I have a feeling that if Austin Cindric can pull off the win today, we'll get one. Thank you, Austin.
She's referencing Austin after the win, saying, back home again in Indiana. It was a Jim Neighbor-esque moment as he won that Xfinity Series race. No, we're looking here at turn 6, and Jeff Jr., we're missing something. Something that was there yesterday is not there today.
Now that's a good thing. That wasn't needed. This was the, see right here, going to turn 6, right there, big orange spot. Well, cars got side by side and they jumped that thing, and it absolutely destroyed these cars. NASCAR came in and after decided to take that out of there. It's a good decision. The grass is enough of a limiter. They really didn't need another limit there.
Yeah, that was a tough lesson to learn yesterday, but good on NASCAR to be willing to make that change.
So the 9 had gone out. Chase Elliott was one of the first to get out on the track, went around and came right back to pit road. So interesting little strategy here. Only 10 minutes for this final round of qualifying as we see William Byron out there trying to put a lap down. Again, fighting for the starting positions 1 through 12, and this is where the pole will be determined.
William is one of 4 drivers that have made the second round in qualifying at both COTA, Road America, and here at Indy. Hardy.
Hey, Junior, as we watch William on the racetrack, I'm wondering, so we've seen Chase Elliott do that. We saw a number of other teams kind of go out and make a slow lap. I thought it might be a tire thing, Jeff. I wonder if it's really more of a temperature thing inside the car. Get the temps up where you want them and then go make your run.
That's a huge lap we just saw by William Byron, faster than what Larson ran in the first round.
Yeah, Marty, it's interesting to see, just trying to get, like you said, maybe just put a little bit of heat in those tires. Interesting strategy. Just feel like they would almost come right back down to temperature. I can see doing that with a sticker tire, but not a scuffed one. Kelly.
Yeah, I just checked in with the 9 team of Chase Elliott, and they're telling me he just simply missed one of the turns, so they immediately cooled down to bring him in to cool the car down in hopes that they can make a second run.
Yeah, that makes more sense. That he decided, hey, this isn't going to work. Just get right back in here and get the thing cooled down. Let me go try again.
What's interesting is there's only 2 turns from the time he took to start until he had to come to pit road right away.
Well,
so
the first corner they go into, turn 12, where Jeff's going to be all day long from
5 to 23.
radio style, is one of the toughest corners for these guys on this track. You're turning through turn 10 and you load the car. The car's rocked over on the left rear and it picks the right front up. And then you brake and you sometimes don't have the front tires planted into the racetrack when you apply the brake, and it'll slide that right front, not give you the braking performance in that corner you need, and you'll miss the corner, and maybe that's what happened. But either way, very challenging corner on this track, and it's the first one they encounter in qualifying because of the alternate start-finish line.
Rick, you mentioned that lap by William Byron. That was 2/10 quicker than what Kyle Larson had run for fastest time in the first session. You see Larson went a 1:28.3 in this session. He was a 1:27.9, so he slowed down. Chase Briscoe slowed down, but only about a tenth.
So here's this turn 10, in the throttle. Car's rocked back over on the left rear, and right here you're braking with the right front kind of in the air initially when you start to brake. So easy to slide.
Guys, maybe a little more wear on the tires is good, because remember, William Byron went out. He had 3 laps in that first round, and now comes out and posts a huge lap here in the second round.
Yeah, it's very interesting, Rick, because some cars, but not a lot of cars, picked up their second time out in the first round. When they went out and tried to go faster, very few went faster. Some did, but very few did. So it's interesting how each car is affected differently.
It might not really be nothing about the tires and just the driver having such limited experience here. He went out there and just hit the lap. He's learning every time. Williams learning every time. All these guys are every time they go run a lap here. And he went out there and just did a good job.
See what Martin Truex Jr. can do. He's about 0.6 of a second off of what Byron ran.
I bet you could poll every driver and they'd tell you at least one mistake they made. Maybe William put together a good one.
This isn't the lap Truex and his team were looking for. It's not terrible, but we just have such high expectations for Truex when we come road course racing. But, pretty far off of William Byron's time right there.
Truex goes 1:28.50, and in the first session he had run a 1:28.14, so not as fast as that first round.
I was going to comment a few minutes ago about how tight this racetrack is in time, and I'm glad I didn't, because William Byron would have made me look foolish. But it has been up until this point. Very close road course for a lot of turns. The field was pretty tight in that first round.
What do you think? Yeah, we just heard from Hamlin, who missed getting into the top 12 by 6/100ths of a second.
Suarez, that first section of the racetrack, Suarez did a nice job. He's right there on pole pace entering turn 1. Oh,
wheel hopping.
Yep. Not a terrible wheel hop, not a spinning out wheel hop, but enough to take some speed out of it.
Still pretty good.
Yeah,
flirting with the green.
This part of the second racetrack so fast. Trying to straighten that part out as much as they can.
Gaining on it a little bit, still about 0.3 of a second. Byron must have had a great turn 7. We just see Suarez lose about 0.2 of a second right there.
He's still on a great lap. Good lap.
Trackhouse Racing, Daniel Suarez will look like start 4th. Good lap there. Tyler Reddick's still out there, though.
Essentially, this 8 car and the 99 car out of the same shops at RCR.
I wonder if he's telling the driver that he's 0.6 off at that particular point of the track. That's some interesting information.
Would that have helped you?
No. I mean, yeah, definitely not help me, but it might be exactly what Reddick wants to hear.
It's it's not enough track left to go find 0.6.
Yeah.
Well, you see somebody, somebody locked it up.
That's
Somebody had missed turn 12.
right now, 1:28.59.
Talking to Cole Custer there. Reddick has been dropped back to 10th. Custer up to 9th with his lap.
Hard in a chip right there. You hear it, engine.
think about last week's race at Watkins Glen. What if this 9 car would have been in front of the 5 car? Would Chase Elliott, without locking those tires up and had to make that extra pit stop? This qualifying is really important. Maybe not just for the pole, but just to get in front of that 5.
This is a really good lap too.
This William Byron, he just laid a lap down that nobody's going to be able to touch.
No. This here's top 5 for sure.
And at the line for Chase Elliott, and it looks like 3rd for Chase Elliott.
There, bud. Good lap.
Clock is run out. William Byron wins the pole for the first ever road course race at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the Cup Series. Briscoe, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Daniel Suarez, the top 5 starters for this afternoon's race. So looking forward to the fans' reaction to the road course here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And fans, you get a chance to voice your opinion on NASCAR America Motor Mouse. It's Monday and Wednesday on Peacock at 6 Eastern. Make sure to join us for that, as now we have a multiple-time pole winner in 2021. He's the first one to do it. Only 6 qualifying sessions, but it's William Byron who wins the pole at Road America. Now he comes back and wins the pole here at Indianapolis.
And we'll ask William Byron, what does it mean to be the inaugural pole winner of the road course here at Indy for the Cup Series?
Oh, that's cool. I didn't think about that for sure. But thanks to Exalta and Chevrolet, Hendrick Motorsports, they've been building phenomenal road course cars, and they've been super fast. So hopefully we have the speed in the race on my end to back it up. But definitely been doing a good job in qualifying. Love that we've got qualifying back, because I feel like that's one of our strengths on the 24. So looking forward to the race, and like I said, hopefully we can keep it up there.
Second pole of the season for you. Take me back to earlier in the week, though. You got a little bit of help on the simulator from Rinus VK, who won here in an Indy car. How helpful was that?
Yeah, that honestly might have helped my lap, because I felt like through turns 13 and 14, as you get up on the oval and go back to the right, he had an interesting technique there with the brakes, and I felt like I was like quizzing him on it and trying to figure out what I could learn from it. So obviously they use a lot, more brake. They're able to turn a lot faster than we are, but it was really cool to see how up to speed he was, and thanks to him for doing that. It was really cool.
Certainly paid off. Congratulations on the pole, William. Marty?
Well, Kelly, the pride of Mitchell, Indiana, Chase Briscoe will start second today. Big smile on his face, no doubt. But you were quick in that first round as well. So were there honestly maybe a little nerves going out there thinking I might have a shot at the pole here?
Yeah, for sure. That first round, I didn't really run a super hard lap. I was kind of conservative, and when it was second, I was kind of surprised. I knew I had a little bit left in the tank, and I felt like if I could beat the 5, I was going to be okay. And then William obviously turned a phenomenal lap. So yeah, cool to get our highpoint.com 4 Performance Racing School car on the front row here at Indy. I obviously wanted the pole. That was the most nervous I've probably been before qualifying session, and probably my entire career, just knowing that I had an opportunity. So yeah, we got a good car, so see if we can get this forward in victory lane today, and there'd be nothing cooler than getting my first one here, that's for sure.
You guys have been so good at the road courses. You love this place. You need a win to make the playoffs. Is that feasible today for the 14 team?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I think this place, it's a lot about how your car runs on the long run, and yesterday the most laps I ran was 2, and I wasn't necessarily happy with it yesterday, but I felt like our car is way better today. So I don't know what it's going to do in the long run. I hope it's good, because I think that'll pay off. But yeah, I mean, this place, you just slip and slide around so much. You need your car to have a lot of drive in it, especially over that long run. And I think it'll be good, but you never know until you get going. But we definitely got a good starting spot and try to maintain that.
And Rick, a little pressure too. He's got about 300 friends and family here today. They're all sitting down in turn 4, going to cheer on the hometown kid.
Well, he grew up right here at this racetrack, so excited about the fact that he will now run the first ever Cup Series race on the road course here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. As we look at the starting grid, you have William Byron and Chase Briscoe making up that first row. And then it's Chase Elliott and Kyle Larson, a couple of guys we would expect to be running up front at the end of this race.
Well, also a lot of guys in the top 10 that if they win this race, it completely mixes up the playoff field. They have good cars, good starting positions. They have an opportunity today.
And we got some guys back here, Kurt Busch, Kyle Busch, Alex Bowman, several guys that we'd expect to run pretty well. They're going to work their way through this field, and Kevin Harvick back here in the field. Eric Jones, a good road course racer that's back here as well.
Keselowski, Ryan Newman back in row 16. A little further back, Andy Lally will be filling in the 78. James Davison up there in row 17. All right, guys, what are we expecting for the first ever road course race for the Cup Series here at Indianapolis?
Well, I think it'll be similar to what we saw at Road Atlanta, or Road America, I'm sorry. The guys are going to continue to understand and improve on this track as the race goes on. We saw Chase Elliott win at Road America, and he wasn't that great at the start of the race. Didn't seem to be like he was the best car, but as the race got going, he learned how his car needed to go around the racetrack and some tricks and speed and found some time, and was really quick at the end and got the win. So I think we're going to see the same thing happen today, guys, evolve, but also watching some of these guys that need wins. Chase Briscoe, you know, guys like that, Ross Chastain that need wins. Can they go out there and shock us all and get it done today?
Yeah, I think with that qualifying effort, not that he's on the pole, but I think Chase Elliott's a clear favorite. To me, he was so much faster than everybody last week, just didn't have the track position, and I think that made him mad. And then on top of that, the experience he gained yesterday in the Xfinity race, I think that's going to help him a lot. Immediately, to me, he's the favorite.
William Byron has won the pole for the first ever road course race here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We'll do the broadcast radio style, so that means that you guys will be out on your perches covering the action from turn 7, turn 12, and Mike Bagley will be turns 1 through 5. So a lot of excitement for the broadcast. We're looking forward to that. Make sure to join us. Countdown to green at 12:30, and Cup Series racing. A new tradition begins on the Indy Road Course for the Cup Series. Again, those are on NBC, so make sure to join us on NBC for that. And then, of course, post-race show on NBCSN at 4 o'clock. Congratulations, William Byron, pole winner at Indy.